often put it this way. In order for us to be in the state that we're in today as people, we have to be out of our minds. We literally have to be crazy. It is necessary for us to be crazy. It is necessary for us to be backwards. It is necessary for us to be maladjusted. It is necessary for us to be disunited. It is necessary for us to be self-hating. It is necessary for us to be filled with an inferiority complex. In a world where the European is essentially about 10% of the world's population, if that 10% is to continue to rule over the other 90%, it must keep that 90% out of its mind. It must keep that 90% in a state of deception. It must keep...
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Thank you for tapping into the End of the Bench Media's Few Minutes of HRap. I am HRap, and thank you for tapping in. While I have your attention, please hit that like, hit that share, tap in. Tell me where you're from. Tell me where you're from. Put it in those in the comments where you're from. And today's episode is called Child Support. Before I start, this is what I want to do. I want to thank my parents, Dolores and John. Without Dolores and John, there is no HRap. Without HRap, there is no program. You'd be doing something else. Now, with that being said, this is an interesting topic today because I hear a lot of people do this on a regular basis. We are in the mode, as the aforementioned Amos Wilson said, we have actually lost our minds. We watch young people on television. We watch people on news. We watch young people in the media. We watch them on social media and say, they're the problem. Well, if they're the problem, how did they get there? Because children, we always regurgitate things we hear boss and them say. Well, how about this? Children are a canvas. They're a blank canvas. And whatever you put in, whatever colors you put to that canvas, that's what that child will be. Now, a lot of people go, well, I tried to talk. Did you try to talk more than once? How many times did your parents talk to you? Have you ever been punished? Have you ever been put in timeout? If you've been put in timeout, that means somebody talked to you more than one time. So, and they talked to you more than one day. So what makes you believe somebody who can live 8, 12, 15 years, you show up with a great plan and then they just, because you said it, I'm going to do it. Now, this is live. I forgot to say this is live, and you can catch me on www.theendofthebench.com, www.theendofthebench.com. You'll see that and the history program the history clip that I'll play in its entirety from Black History and Abundance.com here on YouTube. But as you already know, I would prefer that you go to my website, www.theendofthebench.com. Watch it there. The Black History and Abundance people get credit. I get credit. Both hands, one hand wash the other, both hands wash the face. Everybody's happy. Back to the topic at hand. I'm tired of people talking about young people and what they do or do not do. They're lazy. They're not motivated. They don't do it the way I did it. Well, you didn't do it the way your grandparents did it. How many of y'all pick cotton? How many of y'all did insane labor for ridiculous hours? Oh, but you didn't want to be called lazy by your grandparents, did you? And more than likely, my grandparents never called me lazy. Even when I was being lazy, they just say, get up off your butt. They didn't say that. You know what they did? They told me what I needed to do. Go do this. They gave me something to do. They told me things. They talked to me and not at me. And that seems to be, from this guy's point of view, the problem. We are not pouring into our children. We're not filling them up with motivation. We're not filling them up with proper diet. We're not filling them up with academic excellence. We're not filling them up with cultural excellence. And then we want them to be better than we are. Please explain to me how that happens. Because if you're not giving them the tools, don't ask them to make a house. Though it's like in the story in the Bible with Moses. They told Moses, make brick without straw. And now you want these young people to do that. Well, they're just lazy. A good friend of mine on his program, he said, well, I threw out a basketball and I ain't want to play it. Well, maybe that's not that bad. Did you take them to a college fair? Did you take them to a technology fair? Did you take them to an agricultural fair? Have you shown them art? Did you show them technology? Did you show them anything besides the things that you're interested in that you just assume because they're that age they're going to be interested in? More than likely you didn't. And now because this guy's a problem child and this person didn't get through and that person didn't get through and that person didn't get through. Oh man, don't. And he said on his program, people in the institution said, hey, don't worry about him. Don't take on no extra projects. But then what do? You go home, you watch the news, which most Black people in the United States of America say the media is out to get us. The media is making us look bad. So, but that's where you go to understand who these young people in your community are. How many young people in your community can you say their name? There are probably hundreds in your community. How many do you know by name? When you see them, they say Sid or Alex or Larry or Patrick or Maurice or Craig or whoever. Can you do that? Then more than likely you haven't contributed enough to your community, because the adults and the elders in my community, the one I grew up in, they knew how they addressed me. Brian, one of the elders, gave me the name HRap. Yeah. So if you're not doing that, maybe you're part of the problem and never being part of the solution. Because you know what? The easiest thing in the world to do is identify a problem. That's the easiest thing in the world. Hey, HRap, you're a little overweight. I know. Hey, HRap, you need a haircut. I know. I could sit here and get literally or I could be an orator and give you the cure to cancer, and it'll be somebody who go and cure their cancer, and you know what they'll say? Hey man, you gave some good information. I got cured. My mother or father, sister, brother, niece, nephew, or myself was cured of cancer, but you misspelled a word on your never saying thank you, just identifying what's wrong. That's how easy it is to identify wrong. But how many times have you said, man, those kids are messed up over there? Man, what can I do to help them? Or you say, a lot of people go, well, I tried to help, but other people don't help me. Who helped Dr. King? Was 65% of the Black community did not like him. 65% of the community, 70% of the community did not like Malcolm X. How many people did not like your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? And if you knew the Quran, how many people didn't like the Prophet Muhammad, and so forth and so on? How many people sin every day? So it's that saying you don't believe in God and you don't trust God, because you're breaking the rules. You're not following him. You're not doing what he said. But nobody's pointing the finger at you, because it's easier to punch down than to punch up. Punching up causes action. It causes stick-to-itiveness. It forces you to have stick-to-itiveness, and it forces you to get your hands dirty and work. And that's what's missing in our community, because when I was younger, if you were standing around not doing anything, the older gentlemen in the community would say, hey, come over here and do this. They didn't ask you, they told you. How many guys are doing that? How many people are taking young people to the library? How many times have you purchased a book for someone? All they want to be is in their phones. Okay, that's their means of communication. That's their football. That's their basketball. That's their baseball. That's what they do. It's the blame game. That's all we do is identify a problem. Look at the problem. Never come up with a solution. And then how many times have you got together with the churches in your neighborhood? How many, like this? How many times have you gotten with the churches in your neighborhood, right? And as you're in the churches in your neighborhood, say, hey, I need all 15 of y'all to give me enough money to charter a bus to go to the zoo. We're not doing that anymore. Vacation Bible School, what it was called when I was younger, we would go to the zoo, we would go to amusement parks, we would go to the beach, we would go to the dunes. We went to a bunch of different places. That means, that old adage, that idle minds is the devil's workshop. How many times have you taken somebody, to technology, introduce them to different things? How many times have you taken children to a firehouse, to a police station, to see the inner workings of a police station, instead of aspiring to be a basketball player? Is there something wrong with being a basketball player? No, it's not, because there are literally thousands and tens of thousands of schools that will offer your children academic excellence. Scholarships for not only athletics, but academic excellence. How many of you guys are encouraging young people to be the valedictorian of the class? You can go to college for free. You can get into the best school in the city for free. You can get a private school for free if you get academic excellence, or you can stay here and shine and uplift your friends and family members. See, what are we doing now? But no, we're pointing our finger at these young people and telling them what they did wrong and what they're not worth and what you need to do. The tactic that works so well with you. That's why you sit around and said, I can't wait till I'm grown, because your parents are on you. And maybe, just maybe, you take some of that stuff from your parents, like they took some from their parents, and then you remix it. Like a lot of people don't spank their children anymore. They put them in timeout. They make them face the wall. They make them hold books instead of pounding on them. Take what you know, adjust what you know, and then uplift what you know. Just like the child. The child should be poured into, not blamed. Oh, he's 17 and he don't want anything. Well, I don't remember what I wanted to be at 17. I wanted to be a football player. I didn't know if I wanted to be a broadcaster. I didn't know if I wanted to be a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, because nobody really talked to me about those things. I had great parenting though, so I was able to be guided into a bachelor's of science in criminal justice with a minor in juvenile justice. Juvenile justice. Juveniles are children, because I understood the language. I knew older people didn't speak my language, and I maintain that language, and I speak to younger children now, and older children as well. I communicate with the youth. Some people scared to speak, and some people speak because they're scared. I converse with young people. See, instead of telling them what they're not, I tell them what they could be. And you know what? I might be the only person to do that. And guess what? I might talk to 100 of them, and only 3 of them, 2 of them, 1 of them, they're the only people that respond. But guess what? If they respond and somebody sees them, it becomes a domino effect. Being a dope dealer, you don't have to listen to rap music and hear Biggie say, either you slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. How about this? Either you reading books or you on the ground looking for things. And that don't rhyme, and there's no slick punchlines to it. But either you reading and studying or you're going to be worried. How about that? Because this is what not pouring into children leads to. It's easy to blame the children, but let's talk about the parents. See, we're too busy getting the back. We're too busy avoiding what the title is, child support. Child support is supporting our youth. We're too busy saying, look at that kid. Well, how about this? Here's another example of way we can help children. I remember a few years ago, everybody was like, we're going to put kids in uniforms because the uniforms going to neutralize the bullying. No, it's not. No, it's not. Kids don't bully because of clothes. Kids bully because they don't have anything else to do, anything else to talk about. It's just some of us just bullies. I was one. But how about this? Since you're so worried about how that young person looks, how about this? You could be part of an organization. The Divine Nine, the Masonic Order, the Elks. You can create your own organization. The Nubian Nation, the Nation of Islam, a whole bunch of organizations out here. Go to some of these dry cleaners in your community. Ask for the clothes that have been there for more than a year, because people are not coming back to get them. They've been here 2 years. What are you going to do with them? Let me have them. You take those clothes, package them, and take them to your church, fold them up, and hand them out to the young people who have less desirable clothes. You're upgrading their look for free. But are we doing those things? No, we're not doing those things. We're just pointing. Look at his mom. And then my personal favorite, it's not my business. Well, if it's not your business, why are you conversing about it? If it's not your business and it's not up to you to fix it, don't converse about it. Don't talk about it. Don't address it. Allow it to be what it is. Because that's all you're doing. It's like I said, it's easy to punch down, but when you punch up, you got to get in your car. You got to go to those dry cleaners. You have to make relationships, and you have to let them know that you're with this church. You got to get a 501c3 and show them that it's a not-for-profit situation, so you can say how much. It's a lot of work. But are you willing to do that work? See, that's how you get things done. You have to come up with solutions to problems. We know the problems. To quote Sean Connery in the movie Untouchables back in 1988, everybody know what liquor is. Are you willing to do the work to get rid of it? Everybody know what the problems are with the children. Are you willing to do the work? Every day, 5 days a week, I mentioned, go to your church, create some type of academic excellence program, and say you can teach our kids Black history. Every day, I say it, 5 days a week. Are we doing it? They're trying to take Black history out of school. So what? Because no disrespect, pastors, if you can teach out that book from 5,000 years ago, you can teach the book, you can teach out the history, you can teach history in general. And guess what? Now you got a group of young people who understand and sure that'll help them. And again, if only 5 come back, if it could be 100 there, if only 5 come back, guess what happens? You have 5 more people that are listening to you. They may even come on Sunday. Their parents may even give them a couple coins to help you in your ministry. We're not thinking of creative ways to bring children in. You teach somebody, if you pour into a child, he will pour something out. If you don't pour anything in him, he's going to be empty. He's going to be dull. He's going to be black. And guess what he's going to do? He's going to turn to crime. He's going to drug alcohol. He's going to turn to drugs. He's going to turn to mischief and mayhem. He and or she. It doesn't make a difference. He, she, them, they, or whatever pronoun you choose to use. But this is what I'm talking about. It's TV's fault. It's social media's fault. What? Are you nuts? All these problems didn't start when 2004 when Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, and about 12 years ago when they invented Instagram, and however long ago they invented Twitter and whatever other sites that these young people are on. It didn't start then. They just highlighting it. It's easy to it's the light being pressed on them. Oh man, these kids are crazy. Oh, so you mean like Richard Speck or the Hillside Strangler or John Wayne Gacy or Ted Bundy or any old serial killers? Or you really believe video games got people shooting people at school? Because before video games were popular, you had a guy in Denver, Aurora, Colorado shoot a movie theater. You had people robbing banks. Billy the Kid. What influenced him? Again, it's just, you know what? If you're a spiritual person, what influence came? What influenced him? What influenced Satan? Stop it with the blame game. We're not pouring anything into our children. So we're not getting anything out of our children. I'm going to show you a beautiful story about the richest young sister in the history of this country. As you already know, I show these videos, so I'm going to show you a portion. You can go to my website, www.theendofthebench.com. I'm going to put it on the screen one more time. I need you to hit that like. I need you to hit that share. I need you to tell a friend to tap in. www.theendofthebench.com. You see it right there. Go there, man. Check it out. Rate it. Comment. Leave a comment. Even with the program today, leave a comment. It's important. Watch this, sister, and this shows you what the people who are against us have against what they do when things are advantageous to them. That's why LeBron James and Michael Jordan are held up, because they're beneficial. And you never hear anything about Grant Hill, who's also beneficial. But with that being said, I'm going to play the video, play a portion of the video. You catch the rest of it on Black History in Abundance, and or you move forward and you go Black History in Abundance, or you go here on YouTube and get the same information. I'll be back after this.
Sarah Rector, born March 3rd, 1902, was an African-American member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, best known for being the richest colored girl in the world, or the millionaire girl, a member of the race. Sarah was born near the all-black town of Taft, located in the eastern portion of Oklahoma, in what was then Indian Territory. She had 5 siblings. Her parents, Joseph Richter, and his wife, Rose McQueen, both born in 1881, were African descents of the Creek Nation Creek Indians before the Civil War, and which became part of the Creek Nation after the Treaty of 1866. Being descendants of the Creek Nation, they and their descendants were listed as freemen on the Dawes Rolls, which entitled them to allotments of land under the Treaty of 1866 made by the United States with the so-called 5 civilized tribes. Consequently, nearly 600 black children, or Creek freemen miners as they were called, were granted a reparation of 160 acres of land each. Could you imagine what they could have done with 40 acres and a mule?
Why are you not investing in tax liens? No, seriously. Why are you not investing into one of the most
This was a mandatory step in the process of integration of the Indian Territory with the Oklahoma Territory to form what is now the state of Oklahoma. Sarah's father, Joseph, was the son of John Rector.
I need you to watch that. It is important that you watch that because what they're talking about is the exploitation of a 9-year-old. They actually let her be identified as white. You saw that little young lady with chocolate, but they let her be identified as white because she was making $300 a week. $300 a week back then was insane. It was literally insane money. So what I want you, as you see, nobody ever poured into her, and people, they took advantage of her. And you just watch the video. Go to Black History in Abundance, or you go to www.endofthebench.com. Like, share, comment. Let me know what's going on. And as you watch, put in the comments. Put in the comments where you're from, what you're up to, and let me know what you think of the program. Now, as I stated, we're consistently playing the blame game. What's the answer to the blame game? Stop using one of the things. This is one of the biggest things. Stop using music and entertainment, whether it be acting, dancing, singing, playing instruments, playing some type of ball. As the great Dr. Claude Anderson says, you can't sell sweat for anything. And that's all you're getting out of being entertaining. Sweat. And you get rich and nobody else around you gets rich. But what I want us to start doing is, instead of introducing athletics to a child, introduce art to a child. Because that creativity will turn them into a well-rounded individual, expanding their mind, expanding their ideas, expanding their mindsets, opening options for them. Because their art is universally respected from sea to shining sea, from border to border. And that's just the way it works. You'll get a better child because he's exposed. And guess what? You can also expose them to things like engineering, how to create things, architecture, how to build things, being a mathematician, how to help the architect and the engineer, or even being all three. Then you teach them how to be bilingual, inspire them to be instructors or teachers. You know what? Instead of only, look, here's the thing. There are tens of thousands of academic institutions in the United States of America, and they have tens of thousands of athletic programs. So instead of teaching them how to be an athlete, why don't you teach them how to be the coach? Inspire them to run things. Now you have not only a great athlete, you have a person with a CEO mentality, a CFO. Now you want to be a school president. These are the things you inspire your children to be. You also want to inspire them to be plumbers, because we need plumbers. You want them to be electricians, because guess what? This is a paperweight without electricity. It is worthless without electricity. Then you can also teach them how to be software engineers, because guess what? This is just a bunch of hard plastic if it's no technology on the inside. We are not engaging with our children. It's our children to be artists. You can be a cartoonist, like I'm gonna talk about this company tomorrow on Black Friday, and Valentine's Day and all that mess. But these are the things that I want us to start talking to our children about. We don't need another Michael Jordan. Who's gonna be the next Michael Jordan? Who cares? Who's gonna be the next Jerry Rice or Jerry Buss, the Jerry Jones, George Steinbrenner? Who's gonna be the first Black one of those? See, yeah. These are the things that I need us to understand. When we start inspiring our children to be creative or entrepreneurs, who's going to be the next person to own 16 corner stores in the city of Chicago in Black neighborhoods, making on the average $3,200 a day? Who's going to be the next person to do that? Who's going to be the person who opens his own sit-down restaurant? Like, most of us are familiar with Ruth Chris. A place that's going to overcharge you for the same meal that you can get at Applebee's if they took their time. This is what I'm talking about. Who's going to do that? Who's going to be the next Jack Tripper? Hey, since you love TV so much, since you love movies so much, who's going to be the next Spike Lee? You don't always have to be in front of the movie. Who's going to be the next? Sad to say, but Harvey Weinstein-esque. You don't have to have a sexual assault and the sexual proclivities, the weird sexual proclivities. You know what I mean? But you could produce movies. Who's going to be the next Issa Rae? A person who's created Country Wayne, Big John, and those gentlemen. Who's going to be the next that? Who's going to be the next Ari Gold from Entourage? The guy who ended up running Hollywood. Who's going to be the next guy doing that? Who's going to be the next Tyler Perry who writes out his ideas? This is why you need to go to school. Who has people perform his ideas? This is why you need the imagination. And creates his own platform so he can have these things. Who's going to be the next guy who opens up the Mensa and have his own platform equivalent and greater than Tubi? These are the things that we need to talk to our children about. You know, guess what? It's easy to identify the children. If you have a child who prevaricates or lies or exaggerates or embellishes, or whichever flowery adjective you would like to use, that might be your next creative writer. If you have an argumentative child, you can talk them into poli-sci, and that could be your next Jasmine Crockett. That could be your next Hakeem Jeffries. Yeah. Amir Baraka. Yeah. Barack Obama. Inspire our children to be that. I don't want to see another LeBron James. Shout out to LeBron James. You've done it. We've never seen it. We don't need any more. But we do need more people like Rich Paul. We do need more people like Sonny Parker. We need people like that who are creative. We need more Holcomb Ruckers. Find out who Holcomb Rucker is. These are we need more. Everybody has heard of our great brother, Medgar Evers. Have you ever heard of Charles Evers? Look them up. These are the people who we need to be inspiring our young people to be like. You ever heard of Kwame Ture, Born Stokely Carmichael? Most of us have heard of Bobby Seals. Have you ever learned of Kathleen Cleaver? Yeah, Eldridge Cleaver's wife. Have you heard of Kathleen Cleaver? More than likely you haven't. These are the people who we need to be inspiring our young people to be like. And when you be like those people, you can be Bobby Seals and get your PhD, and then you become a professor until the day you die. You uplift and educate the youth until the day you die. Down in Texas, he's doing it. This is what we need to be doing. Waving your finger at the young people is not getting you anywhere. It's making you look like a clown. It is making you look so disrespectful and disregarding. So if you're not going to speak to the young people and attempt to assist them regularly, not until you get tired, until they get tired of hearing you, because guess what? You can speak to a child on a regular basis, and either they will change or they will move away. Either way, your community wins. Because if we all start talking to them, not at them, they'll either elevate or dissipate. We don't want them to dissipate, but if enough of them get off the corner, who wants to be the only guy standing out there? You'll inspire them to uplift themselves, and they will, a rising tide lifts all boats. Thank you for tapping in. As usual, tomorrow's Black Friday and Valentine's Day. I got some stuff that I'm coming at you with tomorrow. I want to thank you. Remember, hit that like, man. Hit that share. If you haven't done it already, subscribe. Picked up 3 more subscribers yesterday. Salute to the new subscribers. It's awesome that you guys are supporting me. 2 fingers, 1 word. I am HRap B. And listen to this to the end of the video, because
and it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why